I'm Kate Johnson, and I work in the chemistry area at UPike. I'm super excited to do that because I'm just unbelievably blessed to be here. So, so I'm right now. I guess my technical term is laboratory supervisor. That's technically, if you would find me on the directory. So,
Well, and I know that UPike is better because you're here, but as a kid, did you want to be the laboratory supervisor at the University of Pikeville, or what did you want to do?
well, I actually wanted to work at SeaWorld, like, believe it or not. I wanted to actually go into something that I was going to be the veterinarian person and also the trainer of orcas at SeaWorld. And then I figured out just how many SeaWorlds there really are. so at some point I was like, I have to get something else. So in that case, essentially, I started to obviously branch into different things that went into the sciences at least. I definitely knew I wanted something in the sciences, even as what I was hoping was going to be a veterinarian position. But now it is definitely a different path. But at least I'm still in education when you think about it, because part of what I did like about SeaWorld is that they not only just have these orcas and things like that, but it's all about educating the public. And so I was like, okay, in a way it's kind of connected, in a way. So, a very strange way, but it is connected.
Well, we think about dreams. Students come in with dreams all the time. Do you have a dream job that would be perfect for you think?
For the lack of being cliche, I'm really honestly going to say this. I really am. So the more I thought about it, this is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to work in a way at a university. That was once I started going into education, of course. Obviously at some point I went to work at SeaWorld, but once I went into education, I was like, oh, I want to go to some university. I didn't obviously know it was going to be UPike, but I definitely wanted to be at a university setting, and I wanted to be there just because I was thinking, okay, well, this is like the big leagues, and I'm super excited to be at a university level. So in a way, what I currently do is pretty close to my dream job. I would still like to get myself into the lecture role eventually, because right now my supervisory role is in the lab. But you gotta step up from different things.
So did anything happen in life that spurred you onto this path?
I think from literally way early on, I knew for sure I wanted to go for sure into the sciences. Absolutely, I knew that from crazy early. My dad is basically a science person. He, believe it or not, is in the Air Force, or was. He's now retired. But basically, my dad was a phlebotomist in the Air Force, and so sometimes he would take me to his lab, and I would just go around and look at the instruments and go this is super cool. And as a kid, you think everything is cool, and if it's this really cool instrument, I wish it was honestly in this room because I could just show you. I'm this instrument right here is what my dad was playing around with. And I thought these are just so cool. You could watch the blood actually being separated. It was super awesome to watch. So they have these things that somehow, I don't want to go crazy graphic, but that could actually separate the blood as it was basically being centrifuged. And I'm and that's what they do. When you go to the doctor, it's they don't pump blood into you, they pump different parts of blood into you. So that's my dad's job, was to basically take blood and separate it off into different little baggies. I'm okay, well, that's pretty cool. I thought it was as a child, sometimes you're oh, this is just cool, but and then I really early on knew I wanted to be a teacher at something. So I wanted to be in some kind of education role because, this is just what I love to do. I know for a fact, even my actual interview here, I was literally told that it was a completely different experience than what they saw in many other interviews. When I got up there and actually did my teaching thing, it was I became a completely different person in a way. So to me, being in front of people and actually talking about something I'm super passionate about, it's this is it, like, to me. Like, I mean, so, you know, except for if we weren't just talking about the other direction, I mean, like, what's actually also in this room. So, like, I can totally get up there and talk about that also. So, like, so, but yeah, it was just amazing. Like, I don't know. I'll never forget that for sure. Like, when I even did my teaching interview here, like, people came up to me and they were like, this was definitely different.
And it's always so good to feel that affirmation. Now, when you think about your life now and you think about your call, how would you summarize your call in a sentence?
I would summarize it as I was really put on the earth to be something in an educator role in some way. I mean, so, and I just feel like that's something I've been doing for a long, long time. I remember I have a younger brother, and like I was the person in charge of making sure he was like okay in a lot of places, and I would have to talk to him about, well, this is how it works around here. So I mean, so I try to help my brother out and stuff, or different things that he may not have known that I had known just because I was a little bit older than he was. I was like, you know what? Yes, I've already lived some more life that you haven't had here. So that's pretty exciting. So even as a real child, like I used to do stuff like that even. so that's pretty exciting. I think that really is definitely a calling that I had. Like, it's unbelievable to me. Like,
would you say then this call, your job currently, aligns or matches with that lifelong call?
Yes, it definitely matches for sure. I mean, like, it's definitely a pretty exciting thing to be in something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and have prepared a lot of different things to come into this kind of situation. So I've just been incredibly blessed, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, actually, to be able to have some type of opportunity like this. So, I mean, really, like, and for it to kind of come to fruition with how many different paths have already happened. Even in this area, I've worked 4 different jobs that are in education even. So, I mean, so yeah, it's just been amazing to see the wild ride that happens when you actually, like, you know, get to the place where you are and look back. It's really easy to look back at how all the stones connected together. Like, but it's much challenging to see it going forward. So, like that Steve Jobs thing, which is the most awesome thing. I'm sure you've seen that. But yeah, if you haven't, definitely see it. But yeah, every time I listen to that, it's just amazing to me.
Well, and as an educator, you've had a big influence on other people. Could you tell us about a person or two who made the most impact on you to affect you on this path?
It's probably definitely the biggest influence that I had was the person who actually taught me organic chemistry, which is kind of really wild because he and I didn't get along up front at all, at all. So, and somehow, I'm just gonna say, I have 5 learning disabilities. Okay, so if people want to judge me right now, it is what it is. I know myself. It is what it is. But anyways, the professor had a less than admirable look, I guess, pretty obviously PC, at what somebody would have who had 5 disabilities coming into his class. And was highly shocked that I could do well in his class. So he and I had a meeting of the minds at one point, and at about midterm, he actually pulled me to the side of the class and he was like, I'm just incredibly impressed by what you've been able to accomplish up to this point. So that's why I was like, in a way it's sort of a gift in a way, even if you have a disability of some kind, then you can still do what you want to do. I'm like, whoever's seeing this, I'm serious. That's what I love about teaching. I'm like, in my opinion, I'm giving a testimony for the students that come in my class even. Like, I'm like, I have 5 disabilities, okay? So like, and I've been able to accomplish what I've accomplished, and you can too. So you better get it and you better do it. Like, so, all right, so that sounds like, that's what I tell my students a lot. I mean, like, and I think that kind of helps them out in the end. Like, I mean, like, to know that, you know, even somebody who may not have known, you know, what they wanted or whatever, and also their abilities, I'm like, you actually have those same abilities also. So there you go. So there you go. So
if someone's watching this today and they said, turns out I want to be a chemistry professor, or I want to be a lab supervisor, what did you do to get yourself in line for that kind of career?
Like, I just got myself interested in science early on. I just kind of did. I literally did a lot of stuff with my dad, like how I shared earlier. I went to his lab like almost a lot. I mean, like, I'm sure his employer, other people were kind of like, why are you bringing your daughter to work almost a lot? But, you know, so, but we didn't have babysitters back then, you know. So, I mean, so, but, and I wasn't like totally like, you know, running around like a crazy person. But, you know, that helped me actually like see science like for what it is, and also like that it was helping people in the end, because I mean, that's the whole idea of what my dad was doing. Like, all this stuff was going to help patients out and hopefully survive, because that's what that does. Like, when you think about it, it's like, you need a blood transfusion, that's what they're doing. Okay, good. So that, you know, helped the whole thing when you think about it. And so I got interested in science early on. And then as a high school person, when I got pretty serious about going into education, I became like an assistant, I guess, I'm not sure exactly the right word, but to one of the high school teachers. I kind of went in early into class, like into what they called the 0 period, and helped out and tried to figure out what kind of things we were going to do in lab and things. And I was like, okay, well, I can go get this and like do some stuff to prep some things for that teacher. And I was like, you know, okay, well, this will be good. Like, you know, I started to do one of these days, like, I mean, which is kind of very close to what I do right now. Like, I mean, and I was an assistant at that time, like, in high school. So, you know, that's a completely different experience, I guess, than a full-time person. That's what I do, and that's what I am. So, but I got that opportunity to do that. I also got another opportunity, which was incredible. Like, I was the very first person in all of Oregon State University to become an assistant in the lab as an undergraduate. Like, they up until my plea, I guess, because I was like, I really wanted to go into teaching and I wanted this experience and whatever, and I talked to the chair and I talked to the dean and all kinds of people, and prior to all that, like, there was nobody else who had done that at the undergraduate level. Like, so I was like, I want to be the first to blaze that. I mean, like, so, and I'm like, I wanted to do that because I wanted to be like, this is what I really want to do, or is this not what I really want to do? I mean, like, so, because that's the thing, and that's the other thing. I know this is going to be seen. I'm like, you know, you better love what you're going to do, because you're going to be doing it the most in your life. So, I mean, really, so if you don't love what you are supposed to be doing, you just need to find something else. So that's why I decided I was going to do that. And I hate to say, I did not take no for an answer, because I went all the way up the chain to be able to do this, like, at Oregon State. And I wasn't even getting paid either. I was like, y'all don't even have to pay me. I was sitting here trying to figure it out. So I mean, it was completely volunteer or whatever, but I still had to go up the chain to actually do that. Unbelievable. So, and then I got the fortunate opportunity again as a graduate student, which was like given, because like graduate students, they teach chemistry. so I was able to do that. Of course, I got the experience teaching more in the graduate level, and then I got my degree, and basically was able to get a few adjunct positions, and then finally landed my first full-time job as an organic chemistry lab coordinator, believe it or not, which is what I kind of do right now, except for it's general chemistry. Look, so it's like I got the full-time organic chemistry though job for several years actually. Doing that and figuring out what the labs were going to do. And in that time, I was actually able to write my own lab notebook for students. Like myself and two other faculty members sat down that summer. I came there and we decided this is the experiments we were going to do. And myself and those two other people put together the actual lab manual, like from scratch. Like so in other words, we didn't just pull from this book and that book and this book and that book. It's like, no, we decided these are the types of experiments we're going to do, and boom, we're going to make it happen. so it's like, all right then. Like, I was super excited to be able to actually write my own lab manual, essentially, with two other people, obviously. So I'm giving them credit each time, you know how that goes, because you can't, like, take all the credit. There you go. But yeah, so that was pretty exciting to go there and actually learn how you actually write the reports and figure out what they do and pull together some resources to actually come up with what we wanted. So that was pretty exciting. And then I got a nice job at Big Sandy Community Technical College. And then things happened, and then luckily the Lord opened up some other doors. So there you go. So that is what happened up to get to this point.
Well, I wonder, as you're a lifelong educator and you deal with a lot of young people, some have a very clear idea of what they want to do, but so many now are just very uncertain. So when you have students like that who come in and they talk to you in your office or maybe on social media or just in person, what advice do you have for somebody who maybe doesn't know what they want to do?
It kind of goes back to what I said earlier. You better find what you love. Like so in that case, essentially, whatever it is that you love to do, that better be the focus of whatever you're going to get a job doing. Like so in that case, I've helped a lot of students, even in my career, like they wanted to do just basically sports and sports medicine and things of that nature. And I was like, you can get a job doing that. You could help the people out with physical therapy and things of that nature. So there's like all these things that you could do, like even if that's what you wanted to do with your life. My job is to lift weights and actually help out, my upper body strength or whatever, because some people have actually told that to me. And I was like, there's many jobs that you can do those kind of things. So in that case, essentially, that just helps out a lot. And there's a lot of resources also that I found for students that are online where you can do what they call interest surveys. And then that way you can kind of deeper into what it is that you these things dive deep too. Like some of these surveys that are what is it that you really, really want to